Hello, mama, and welcome to your first workout. Okay, so kind of how this is gonna go is you have your sheet, and it has your weight recommendations on it. It also has number of sets, okay? So for the number of sets, for instance, this first one starts with 3 sets, okay? So I'm gonna take you through one set. We wanna do everything in order. And then until we find a space, okay? So that's how my workouts are set up. So everything that's directly underneath of each other is going to be kind of a circuit style. So you'll go from one to the next. When you get to the space, you want to go start back up from the top for the number of sets that are specified, okay? Weight recommendations are suggestions I think you'll be okay with. You can always adjust accordingly if things feel too heavy or if they feel too light. You're definitely welcome to bump up in weight, but I think this will be a pretty good place for us to start. So workout day 1, number 1, starting with a goblet squat. So I'm not sure really where goblet comes from, but basically what that means is that we're holding it at our chest. So anytime you see goblet, it just means that we're holding the weight. I have a kettlebell here. I think we have those kettlebells that go up to 15. That's a good option. Or you can do a dumbbell in a similar fashion like this, okay, up at your chest. But again, it just means that we're holding it at our chest. So for our goblet squat, I want you to start with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Toes are going to be facing basically forward. They can turn out a little bit if that's comfortable for you, but for the most part, we want to stay forward. Okay, so the bell will stay up at our chest. We want elbows to be tucked tight into sides to keep our core and our back engaged. And then from here, we are just going to go down into a nice squat. Okay, come all the way back up to the top. 10 times. So this is 2. Go ahead and do them with me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Making sure that our chest stays up the whole time. Okay, that's a big thing. So if you see me from the side, my elbows stay tight, my chest stays up. And we want to make sure also that as we're squatting, those knees are driving out over our toes, okay? So if we're squatting here, we really want to make sure we're pushing the knees out, engaging our glutes. Those are external rotators, rather than letting like our knees cave in. No bueno, okay? No bueno. Try to really sit that weight back, which is going to allow us to unload the knees, load the hips instead. Cool. Second one, box step up with knee drive. So you can go ahead and start. I know that we have that step box at home. Start with that low step box. It's not going to be a lot of height, but it will allow you to at least focus on stability for these first couple times through. And then eventually, if you want, you can either progress to a higher box or you can use the bench, like the weight bench that's attached to Ryan's squat rack. So we want to have a dumbbell in each hand. So I put on there 15 to 20 pounds. I think that's a good place. Again, the box itself is not that high. It's going to be more so just the balance and the stability that's required. Okay, so dumbbell is going to be in each hand. Make sure that the arms just stay long. They're just holding the weight, so we really don't want to keep any tension up through our arms. So all one side at a time. We're going to start with one leg up on the box. Okay, so I'm stepping up. The second knee is going to drive up to my chest, towards my chest. Okay, and come back down. This foot can stay up on the box the whole time, that's fine. We've got 8 on each side, okay? So 2, back down, 3, 4, 5, 6, good, 7, and 8, good. Take a slight break and then we'll switch sides. Big things here, we really want to stabilize a lot through our core. We want to think about pulling upwards as we step, okay, rather than caving forward. So as I step up onto the box, I really want to lock out this glute of the bottom leg, squeeze through my core so I can pull that knee up high and squeeze through that whole midline. Okay, so second side, same thing. We got 8 on each. Foot can stay up on the box. So 1, 2, 3, 4, Good. So just brief little pause at the top. Again, it's really not for the purpose of cardio, okay? That's a big thing with the resistance training that we're doing. We just we want to think about it for the purpose of strength training, for the purpose of stability, locking in those positions just for a second, not trying to rush through it for the purpose of cardio. You can always walk extra, you can always jump on the elliptical bike, etc., but for the most part during this part of the session, we want to keep everything slow, controlled, steady, really owning each position. And again, this box is going to be pretty low. Go ahead and progress to the higher box if you feel like you can. I want to take a drink real quick because I just finished working out and I'm hot and it's like 90 degrees in here. Cool. All right, next one, 1 point dumbbell row. We are going to probably use just a bench or a table for this one. Like one of those like end tables by the couch or anything is fine. I'm gonna use a chair because we don't have a bench in here. 1 point basically means 1 point of contact with a stable surface. So that means that today our 1 point is going to be one hand against one bench, okay? Here, we want to press hard into the bench and make sure that our back stays nice and flat, okay? So we're not rounding, and this is like the Hunchback of Notre Dame classic bent over, okay? Not what we want. We want lots of tension through our spine, almost to the point where we're arching, just so that we have a lot of tension through the musculature of our lower back, okay? It takes pressure off of our spine itself. We want to be working the muscles, not the bones and the cartilage. So here, I'm arched, I'm tight, I have 1 point of contact. Okay, this other hand is just going to hang down long, and then I'm gonna pull back towards my side. Okay, elbow sweeps back towards the hip. We've got 10 on each side. I think that's 5. So the big thing here is that when we're rowing, see how I kind of reach forward and extend, and then as I pull, I'm sweeping the elbow back towards my hip. So the way that our lat runs in our back, it's a big sweeping muscle, okay, down the side here. So we don't want a chicken wing up like this because we're really not working what we want to be working, but instead pulling down and back to engage as much musculature as we can along this back side. So go ahead and switch sides, 10 on this side as well. So bracing hard, back is tight, shoulder blades are pulling back together, and then we are rowing back to the side. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. Good. And go ahead and relax. On that one, I had 15 to 20 as well. I think that should be a fine place. Don't doubt yourself. You're a strong woman. We know it. It's just going to be different stuff that you're not used to doing probably so consistently. Fourth one in this circuit, and also the last one in this circuit, alternating dumbbell bench press. So for this guy, you can do it from the floor really if you're traveling or if you don't have a bench, but I know we have that bench on the squat rack downstairs, so go ahead and just use that for the purpose of comfort. I'm going to pull up my little box here because I don't have a bench in here. For the alternating dumbbell bench press, we're going to have a neutral grip, which basically means that our palms are facing each other rather than down or wonky. So facing each other. So 2 dumbbells, 1 in each hand. You are going to lay on back on the bench. And we're gonna start in the starting position with 2 dumbbells up. So again, my palms are facing each other. If you are on the bench or if you're on the floor, we wanna make sure that our feet are flat, okay? 1 is gonna pull down at a time, okay? So 1 is gonna pull down, punch back up while the other one stays. We wanna think about sliding that elbow tight to our torso on the way down and then getting a nice full extension on the way up, okay? Again, we're kind of thinking pulling that elbow down towards our hip as we pull down to the bottom position rather than letting it flare out or do anything goofy, okay? It stays tight to the torso. We're gonna do 20 total, and again, 1 stays locked up over our head as the other is pressing. I don't know what number I'm at. I'm gonna do 4 more. You're gonna do 4 more with me. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. And then when you come down, it's silly, but I'm super nitpicky, okay? As you come down with the dumbbells, make sure that from this position, we use the dumbbells, we use the weight and the momentum of the dumbbells to come to our thighs and sit up, okay? Protecting our joints, protecting our elbows, protecting our shoulders. Do not, please do not, from this position, let them flail out to the side to drop them, okay? That's a disaster waiting to happen in the shoulder or the elbow. Always come to those thighs, use it to rock on up. Okay, so that is circuit number 1. I am going to let you pause here, okay? Or you can even rewind it if you want help to go back through again. You've got to go back through it 2 times, okay? So again, start with the goblet squats, the step ups, the rows, the press, and then you'll cycle through back once more. Then you'll meet me back here for round 2. So pause if you want to, or rewind, and then we'll pick right back up. We're back. Okay, great. Hopefully that you were able to execute that first round again on your own a couple times. We are on to the next one. Normally a good thing to think about is that the first round is going to be probably the hardest. We're getting the most bang for our buck with big muscle groups and compounded exercises. The second round or the third round, depending on if there is one, normally is a little bit more isolated, kind of a come down. So the second one is going to be a little bit more arm heavy for you. First thing we're going to start with is a dumbbell curl to overhead press. So go ahead and find either some, I put 8s to 10s. If you really want to start with 5s, you can, but I think that's kind of slacking out on yourself a little bit. So we are going to start with the curl to press. Arms are going to be down on our sides, palms are going to be facing forwards. Okay, first motion, just as it sounds like, we're going to do a bicep curl. Okay, palms come up towards my shoulders. I'm going to wrap my palms facing forward second, and then I'm going to press up overhead. Okay, so that's 1 rep. I'm going to come back down exactly the way I came up. We want to make sure that we're nice and controlled pulling it down. Okay, so there's 2, there's 3. Making sure that the arms come fully extended up over the head. Okay, my elbows lock out, the dumbbells come close to each other. 5, 6, 7, 2 more. Just kidding, 3 more. 8, can't count. 9, and this is the last one, and 10, and come gently down. Cool. So again, as we're coming down, we just never want to let the gravity take us. Okay, work against gravity. It's equally as important as the upward motion, if not more important, that eccentric controlled part on the way down. Cool. Second thing, alternating dumbbell lateral raise. Okay, I have 8 to 10 on here again. Lateral raises are ones that we want to stay pretty light, pretty conservative on, just so that we don't start swinging with our whole body to get the weight up, okay? Other things to think about with lateral raises is that we really want to only come to shoulder height. So sometimes you'll see people flailing all the way up. Okay, at that point, we're recruiting a lot of traps, a lot of neck muscles, things that'll make us sore and up in here that we just really don't need. It's not working what we want it to work. So we're going to start with 2 down at the side. Okay, I'm going to do a lateral raise, 1, 2, out to the side. We have 20 total. We're coming straight up to shoulder height. And then another thing I like to think about is 5, 6, is slightly leading with my pinky on the way up. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if you can see, as I raise, I slightly lead with my pinky on the way up. So there are 3 heads of our deltoid or of our shoulder muscle. Okay, if we lead with our pinky, we recruit basically all 3 of them. Whereas if we lead with our thumb, we really only get the front one. So just to get as much bang for our buck as we can, we want to try to kind of drive that pinky upward so that we hit all of them. I lost count. Let's do 4 more total. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Again, making sure that this all stays tight. We're not flailing crazily. We're not swinging. We're not using momentum. Okay, come to that full reset and then stretch out to the side. Last one we have is overhead dumbbell triceps extension. So pretty classic tricep exercise. I want our hands to be kind of in a triangle here and then get under the base side of one dumbbell. Okay, so if you can kind of see how I have that. You can stand, I'm just on my knees because I happen to be on my knees and you can see me a little bit better from here. I'm gonna have the dumbbell up overhead. Okay, I wanna try to tuck my elbows as tight to my head and keep them facing forward as much as I can. So I really don't wanna flare out like this. I wanna try to keep them tight, facing forward, and then as I extend, same thing. Elbows try to stay locked right in that position so it's just a single joint isolation motion to work the triceps. Okay, that's 4. We've got 12. Make sure that we get a nice full extension up at that top. Squeeze and extend, keeping elbows tight. Say 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, 12, and come down. And then if you are standing, a good thing to think about there is just making sure that our rib cage is tucked down here. So as we're pressing, we don't want to flare and really use our body, woo, to get into it. We want to just isolate through that triceps. So that was round number 2, okay? You have one more round through that. Again, you can rewind back to the start of the second round that I started with you, or you can proceed on your own. But that is workout number 1. Not a bad idea to go for a little walk after this, maybe take a little stretch. But day 1 is down. I hope that you enjoyed, and catch me back here for day 2.